Zig Ziglar is quoted as saying, "Lack of direction, not a lack of time, is the problem. We all have 24 hours in a day."
Welcome to the Unleash Success Podcast, where we break down the secrets of success to give you real tools and strategies that get real results. And now, here's your host, Corey Corpodian.
Welcome back to Unleash Success. I'm your host, Corey Corpodian. Today, we're going to talk about time management and how we effectively create and do more in those 24 hours. I'm going to share with you 5 keys that I have used to maximize my efficiency and time, to help me manage my time better so that I can accomplish my goals in less time and get more done each and every single day. Real quick, before we get into this, I want to ask each and every one of you, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, or if you have subscribed, I would love it if you can leave a review for the podcast. It's not something I talk about a lot, and I think I have maybe 39 or 40 reviews on iTunes, which is great, but I've never even asked for any. So please, guys, if you can, please, there's a link in the show notes. I'll put it right at the top. Click on the link, leave me a review. 5 stars is always helpful as we are trying to grow this podcast and get more exciting guests on the show. With that said, go ahead, feel free, share this podcast with your friends, share it on social media. Definitely, I appreciate that. That is one of the biggest ways that this podcast continues to grow. One thing I want to share with you guys too is you might have noticed that as we started 2019, haven't been releasing an episode every single week. We are going to get back to weekly releases. Just want to let you guys know, I personally have been starting a new business that is super, super exciting, but really taps into my entrepreneur spirit. Got a lot of opportunities, so I'm really busy with that. Once that's fully operational in the next month or so, I will let you guys know exactly what it is. Little teaser. I've also been absolutely just fully committed to finishing my book, Emotional Fitness. You guys know I talk about emotional fitness all the time, and I truly believe if you master emotional fitness, you master everything in life. And so with Emotional Fitness, that book, I just sent it to the editor. Finally, hopefully we'll be able to get a final copy as early as March. If you like, I will send you guys, anybody who emails me, Corey, Corey, at unleashsuccess.com. Send me an email, and I will send you a copy as soon as I get that final one. See what you think before we even publish it or release it to the public. It'll be a little exclusive. It's all about mastering our mind and emotions to overcome our fears and our limits and to really create a breakthrough in life so that we can accomplish anything we want in our life and truly live the life of our dreams. So that's what's been going on in my life. Let's get back to mastering time management. Now, a lot of people think about time management, and before I even get into the 5 keys, a lot of people will talk about how you have to have balance. And, well, let's be real. In the world of getting shit done, fuck balance. If you want balance in your life, I truly believe that you have to go balls to the wall to create financial stability, to create a relationship that has the stability, the love, the passion, to create the body that is healthy and vibrant and energetic. I really think that you have to commit to those areas of life for a significant period of time, and that requires you to be kind of unbalanced for a while. And if you really want to be balanced, I think that it ends up that you master something for a period of time. So I'm really not about balance, guys. And you're going to see this in here. But if you want to accomplish some goals, if you want to get some shit done, if you want to accomplish more in life, live the life of your dreams, become the person you say you want to become, well, then this podcast is for you. So let's go over my 5 keys that have nothing to do with balance, but are pretty helpful in getting goals accomplished and getting shit done. Look, guys, one of the things people always say is they say, Corey, you must have incredible time management skills. The truth is, I feel like I'm horrible at time management, but I started to realize I do accomplish a lot in less time, and therefore I must be doing something right. So I realized what exactly I was doing, and I put them in a list of 5 for you. So number 1 is the power action list. You guys have probably heard me talk about this before, but this is a list I create pretty much weekly. If I'm ever unsure of exactly what my priorities are, I might do it even more than weekly. You can do it daily if you need to. But the power action list is essentially a list of 3 to 5, max 5 items that I need to accomplish that really get everything done. You notice in Unleash Success when I'm interviewing people, I'll ask, hey guys, I really strongly believe in the 80-20 rule or the Pareto principle. The 80-20 rule basically says that 80% of our results come from roughly 20% of our actions. The key is knowing which actions we need to take. So when I create a power action list, this is not a to-do list. When people create to-do lists, they say, oh, I need to go shopping. I need to get apples and oranges. I need to run by the dry cleaners. I need to, go buy more toilet paper. Whatever it is, there's this long laundry list of things that they need to get done. Sure, they'll have some important things on there. Maybe they put those important things at the top, but then they get overwhelmed, and then all of a sudden they're doing the easier things like cleaning their desk than, actually going out there and making things happen. So the key with the power action list is to write down 3 to 5 action items that are so powerful that they will create 80% of the results you want. So really think about it. When it comes down to setting aside time, you want to make sure you are prioritizing your most important goals in life. If one thing is really important to you, for instance, maybe you want to lose 20 pounds. Well, if every morning you wake up and you let something else get in the way of going to the gym, that is not going to help you. If you want to start a business and every day you wake up and you watch TV or watch the news or go for a run, even then, it's like, what are you doing? You're not maximizing your actions to create the results that you want in life. So a power action list for somebody creating a business might be step number 1, create the business or create the website for your business. Step number 2, go get clients. Maybe that should be even step number 1. Go ask people if they even want the product or service that you are planning on selling. You could be the best butterfly babysitter in the world. But if nobody has a butterfly that they need somebody to babysit, your service is not going to become a business. I just made that shit up. But anyways, I digress. So, power action list, you want to write down 3 to 5 action items that you can accomplish today that will help you reach your ultimate goal, whatever that is. So, write it down, create that list, and don't worry about all the other stuff. If you do these 3 to 5 things, a lot of the other stuff that you feel like you need to do tends to get accomplished anyways. Focus on the main things. Don't get caught up in the minutia of life. Stay focused. Now, step number 2 in time management will really bleed into step number 3, but it's super helpful, and it's a process called chunking. All right, I do this all the time. Sometimes it can be a little overwhelming for people at first if you're not used to this, but chunking is basically taking a few different things that are related to each other and putting them into a block of time. So, for example, if you need to go to the grocery store and run some errands, and also, you need to go shopping for food, but you need to go to the dry cleaners and you need to get a haircut. Well, if all those things are in the same shopping center, you can just write shopping center errands, and that will be your chunk of time. So that way you're not driving to the shopping store and getting food and then coming back and then driving back to get a haircut and then driving back and then going back. Oh, I need to go pick up my dry cleaning. Like, you could spend all fucking day doing those 3 errands as opposed to just 2 hours. Also, chunking when you're doing, for instance, I chunk when I do social media posts. I'll sit down And instead of writing one single post every single time I want to post something or one thing, I will sit down and create 7 to 10 posts at once. Now, I've honestly got to get better at chunking that too, because I don't always write down all the captions for those 7 to 10 posts. And truth be told, I spend a ridiculous amount of time sometimes posting and then writing the caption right then and there. But you can actually, there's services, you can actually write the caption ahead of time so that you can chunk your time together, get better at what you're doing, and stay focused so that you're not wasting your time trying to do everything all at once, all day, every day. Now, I said step number 2 bleeds into step number 3 or key 3, which is monotasking. And so when you chunk things together, for instance, creating social media posts, anything like that, where you're doing a lot of different things at once. If you're creating the post is one thing, then you're creating the caption is another thing, and then you're putting it into your software that automatically posts to social media, or you're doing your hashtags and you've got everything lined up. That is chunking it all together. You put that chunk into a block of time. You spend 2 to 3 hours doing it. The next thing, the third key, which I've talked about before, is monotasking. Yes, you heard that right. I'm not talking about multitasking. Multitasking is a surefire way to get distracted from your main goal. A lot of people like to talk about how good they are at multitasking. I like to talk about how good I am at monotasking. Sometimes that might be a negative if you're not paying attention to the road, for instance, while you're driving. But again, I digress. I'm just having some fun today, guys, because it's been a while since I've talked to you, so I'm really excited to be back on here, back on track. Anyways, monotasking is highly effective. It is the ability to focus on a single task for a block of time. And I want to give you some specific tactical tools to apply to monotasking to make sure you maximize your time each and every single day you do it. Some people will say, that the amount of time that they can stay focused on something is a short period of time. I agree. There are times where you need to take a break, but I really believe that when you monotask, you want to block out a minimum of 4 to a max of about 6 hours of time. Now, I know that seems like a lot of time, but when you need to get something done, you want to block that entire time so that you can avoid distraction. When you avoid distraction, when you're monotasking, you become more efficient at what you're doing because you're so focused on it. You're not worried about other stuff that's not distracting from your energy or your effort or your ability to do what you're doing. You are fully focused. So 4 to 6 hours is the ideal amount of time that you block out. Another tip is turn off your cell phone, turn off your email, whatever you're doing. Turn it off so that you don't get distracted by a text message, by social media scrolling, by an email, whatever it is. This really, really helps. And ultimately, multitasking, I said, is easier to get distracted. It seems like we're doing a lot of things done, but we're doing them inefficiently. With monotasking, you get more done in less time, and it allows you to build momentum. When you have momentum, if you've ever been in a state of momentum or even a flow state where things are just happening, you're just rocking and rolling, you're hitting your groove, so to speak, and things are easier. They're getting easier because you've got so much momentum built up and you are just moving along. Have you ever been in that state of mind where you're like, man, I just want to keep going. I'm in the flow. I'm in the groove. I've got it. I want to keep the momentum going. That's because you probably were monotasking. You were so focused on the goal that it actually became easier to accomplish what you wanted to do in less time. So these are some tips to monotask. I really think those are key tools. And then when you monotask, another tip is you don't have to monotask 14 things in the day. You don't have to switch between all these different topics. I like to monotask by week. So if I've got a podcast, I typically will review the podcast on Tuesdays. I'll work on podcasting on Thursdays and Fridays, but I block out 4 to 6 hours sometimes when I'm doing an interview, when I'm editing, when I'm reviewing these things, or social media posts, right? So I have different days with these different blocks of time blocked out so that I'm allowed to get the momentum. And what I do, going back to key number 2, which is chunking, is I'll chunk different things together so that I'm able to effectively use my time. I'm pretty bad at managing everything all at once, but when I do that, I get a lot of shit done. And I think that's the goal of life, right? Like, or at least the goal of this podcast is help you unleash success and to help you get things done to accomplish our goals, whatever it is. So chunking, so you put things into blocks, and then monotasking those blocks, roughly 4 to 6 hours is kind of the ideal time frame to make that happen. So key number 4, which is going to really ignite your energy, is simply passion. Do you have any passion about what you're doing? Because if you try to monotask for 4 hours and you're not passionate about it, you're going to be fucking bored out of your mind. People will be like, it's like pulling teeth. It is so hard to do. Listen, I pull teeth in my life. It's actually not that hard. Side note, I was a dentist. Now, but if you are passionate about something, everything is easier. When you are passionate about it, those 6 hours fly by. There's a old joke about how time is so relative. You know, you put your hand on a hot stove and a minute can feel like an hour. You put your hand on a hot woman and an hour can feel like a minute. And I apologize to ladies out there, for all the males out there, you know what I'm talking about. Ladies, you probably know what I'm talking about when you put your hands on a hot man. And don't pretend you don't love that, because I know everybody at some point in their life does love a little bit of love. But we're talking about passion for our work. If you want passion, you got to figure out what drives you. You know, like what interests you. If you're doing something and you're pulling your hair out and you have no interest in doing it, maybe you need to go back to step number 1 in the first key, which is create a power action list, and really prioritize your goals. What are your goals? What are you passionate about? Because I'll tell you one thing in life, guys, if I am not passionate about what I'm doing, it is hard to force myself to do it. But if I remember why I started it, if I remember why I'm doing this, why I'm so passionate about it, oh man, it's so easy and I've got energy for days. So one tip for that, guys, write down 10 things or 10 reasons why you're so passionate about doing what you're doing. If you're struggling, write down 10 things that tell you exactly why you're so passionate about it and reconnect with it. You know, sometimes we get so lost in the process that we forget why we even started doing something in the first place. And I got to be honest, if you can reconnect with your passion, even on a weekly basis, that is highly effective for keeping your energy high and your ability to focus. And the 5th key is something that's easy for a lot of people to say, but not a lot of people actually practice it. And that's commitment. Are you committed to your goals? It's easy to be committed when you just wrote down the goal, when you're excited, when you're motivated, when things are going well. But what about in a month or 2 months or 3 months when things don't go that well? When, you hit a speed bump? Do you give up? If you're committed to something, it means you do it even when you don't feel like doing it. You understand that? Right? When I commit to something, it means, you know what? I'm committing to doing this. I committed to doing 100 episodes of this podcast, and even if it kills me, I will get to 100. Some of you guys are like, well, Corey, you missed a couple weeks. I know. I made some mistakes, guys. I'm not perfect. I wish I had done a little bit more, but I got so busy with other things in life that I decided that I wasn't going to be of service. I wasn't going to be able to give you guys good content, and I didn't want to put something out that was crap. So what I did was I just postponed it. But I'm still going to hit that 100. Everybody knows Corey is going to release 100 episodes of Unleashed Success. I've said it a million times. I'll say it a million more until it actually happens because I'm committed. Even if I don't feel like doing a podcast, I will still do 100 episodes because I can't live knowing that I committed fully to something and I didn't follow through. And see, when you commit to something, it ties you. It engages you like that. And it allows you the ability to go through the ups and downs of the process to achieve a goal and realize that sometimes you got to push through a little bit of pain. You know, you want to lose weight? Those first couple weeks might be exciting. Those next couple weeks are shit. You don't see any results. You're literally looking at the scale. It's not dropping. You can't see your abs. You're not getting stronger. You feel like everything you're doing is just wrong and it's not working. But if you were to stay committed, and you were to stay committed for another 6 weeks, you only in there for 6 weeks, now you do it for another 6 weeks, and maybe you do it for 6 full months. I guarantee you that if you're following a program, you will see results. It's the same thing in life. If you commit to something and you say, I'm going to do it for 6 months, that gives you the time to really go through the motions, to push past that pain, to not give up, to see if it's worth it to you. We talked a little bit about finding your passion. One of the things about finding something you're passionate about, I believe, is you got to commit to something long enough to actually see if it's something you enjoy. The first time I said I was going to do podcasting, I really didn't know if I was going to enjoy it that much. I just committed to it because I was like, I believed that if I was going to be successful, I read that you had to release a minimum of 7 episodes because if not, most of them fail by the 8th episode. So I was like, well, I'm going to release 10 to start. And I'm going to commit to 100 because I want it to be successful. Oddly enough, yes, my podcast about Unleashed Success, I want to be successful. But that's part of commitment. When I committed to being in a men's physique competition, I was like, all right, for 90 days, for 3 full months, I'm going to be dedicated 100% fully to working out, to dieting, to health, to fitness. This is going to be what I live, eat, and breathe. There is power in commitment. And one thing I'm going to give you guys, an extra tip to end this episode on time management, has to do kind of wrapping everything together. Has to do with monotasking, with, our power action list, with chunking, with creating a life that you want to live with passion and commitment. And that's the 1% rule. This is something that I created a long time ago, and it's really just based off simple mathematics. I read one time that if you had $10,000 and you invested that into something, and if you could compound that 1% per day, at the end of the year, you would have something like $377,600. And some of you might be thinking, like, Corey, why isn't it $36,500? And that's the power of compounding. It's not simply $10,000 times 365. What you're doing is you're earning 1% every single day. That 1% increases. So for $10,000, essentially you get, on day 2, you get $10,100. But then you take 1% of $10,100, not $10,000, and that creates compounding. So that's the power of compounding, is that instead of 36,000, you get 377,000. So I want you to take this idea from money and apply it to your life. What could you accomplish if all you did every single day was pick one area of life to increase by 1%? And you said that one area of life that you're going to increase by 1%, you're going to commit to that area for 90 days, 3 months. How far could you go? How much could you accomplish? Whether it's a relationship, whether it's your body, whether it's your finances or your business, what could you do if you committed to improving by at least 1%? Now, is 1% really that hard? But if you did it over every single day, and you did it for just 3 months, or maybe even 6 months, I mean, imagine if you did it for a year. Even if you didn't improve by 1% every single day, but you were able to improve in 1 year 1,000% fold, because that's what it would be. It would end up being, if you did it 1% a year, you'd actually improve from day 1 to day 365 by 3,776%. And imagine if you could just do 1,000% better. Just 1,000% better. How incredible would your life be? I'll tell you this, with health and fitness, 3 months is all I need to create an incredible body. I know it's crazy, but 3 months with the right strategies, the right commitment, and daily improvement, I know in 3 months I can change it. The first time, maybe it didn't take me that, or it wasn't that short. Maybe it was 6 months. But if you commit to it, if you commit to growing, to learning, to improving by 1% each and every single day, if you commit to learning from your failures and mistakes instead of dwelling on them, could you change your life in just 6 months? How powerful would that be? So I challenge you to take this rule. I challenge you to go ahead and write down a few things, a goal, why you want it, what you're going to do to improve upon it, how long you're going to commit to it, and I want you to stick to that commitment. And tell me why you're committed. I'll actually include a link in the show notes to a PDF. It's kind of old, but it's a PDF that I wrote up for the 1% rule. In case you guys want a little bit of a guide, it is pretty powerful. That's actually, when I first changed my life, I turned it all around in 6 months, and it was simply by applying 1% to my mental and emotional fitness, two things I'm obviously very passionate about. Again, thank you so much for listening. You know, mastering time is something that we all struggle with. I started this podcast by saying, fuck balance, because let's be real, sometimes I don't believe in balance, and I think that if you want to accomplish big things in life, you have to be unbalanced. But if you want to manage your time effectively to accomplish those goals, it doesn't really have to do with balance. It has to do with what you want out of life and how focused you are. And these are just tools to help you and that have helped me stay focused. So I hope that they help. If they do, please subscribe to this podcast. Please share with friends. Please click on the link in the show notes to write a rating and review. That's super, super helpful. Just getting it out there. I really appreciate you guys. And this was a little bit different. I'm changing up the podcast a little bit going in the next year. I'll still be doing those interviews because I fucking love them. I hope you guys do too. But at the end of the day, I want to create something of a little bit more value. And so I'm just trying to get to the point, eliminate the fluff, and keep on rocking so that 2019 is everybody's best year ever. Really appreciate each and every one of you for listening. Until next time, unleash success in you. If you enjoyed the show and learned something of value, the one ask that I have is please go subscribe, whether you're on iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube. And if you leave us a 5-star rating or review, that absolutely helps us get our message out there. Each week, I'm going to continue to interview amazing people, and we're going to break down their tools and strategies to help get you real results. Feel free to visit the website, unleashsuccess.com, and subscribe to our newsletter so you get updates each week. And remember, knowing is not enough. Knowledge alone is not power. Action is. Because action is the only way you're going to get the results you want in life and truly live the life of your dreams. So take some action, subscribe to the podcast today, and get ready to unleash success in you.